Our next mindful session will be on March 3rd. So President's Day, I was just reminded, is next Monday, and I get a day off, which is lovely. So stay connected with your mindfulness practice next week by tuning into the YouTube channel. We've got a whole library of content, myself and Dr. Rush and other mindfulness facilitators that you can find in the Mindfulness Mondays playlist on YouTube. Um, this week, for some of us, we celebrate a little love holiday called Valentine's Day, which is Friday. And in staying on theme with Valentine's Day, this Wellness Wednesday's webinar is on the subject of staying connected, nurturing closeness beyond Parkinson's disease. So we know that the journey of Parkinson's can create physical, emotional, and cognitive challenges that impact our relationship with others, as well as our relationship with ourselves. And that can make it feel difficult to establish this sense of belonging, this feeling of closeness to ourselves and to others. So this Wednesday, we'll explore ways to deepen and also maintain emotional bonds despite the challenges. We'll talk about communication strategies, shared activities, and tools on how to foster understanding to offer meaningful approaches to stay close to those that you love, especially yourself. So if you're interested in learning more about this extremely important subject, it's one that I find is essential to the quality of my life, is feeling close to others. You can join us this Wednesday, and the link's there for you to connect with us later this week for Wellness Wednesday. I want to give a thanks to the Light of Day Foundation, whose support to our mission allows our programs like the PD Health at Home to keep going. So thank you, Light of Day Foundation. And now I'll turn the mic over to Dr. Taylor Rush, who has a beautiful subject for us today. Dr. Rush.
Thank you, Krista. As always, it's so wonderful to be here with you guys today. And similar to Krista's sentiments, I just find it remarkable how so many people across the globe can convene together for our special space here. So thank you all for being here. So today, I thought that perhaps we could explore the topic of authenticity. It's often something that I see come up sometimes indirectly and other times more directly in my work with individuals who have Parkinson's disease, as well as care partners to those with Parkinson's. And I want to first toss out the question to you guys, what does that word mean to you, authenticity? If you wanted to share in the chat, I would love to hear what resonates for you. I think we all come into it with maybe slightly different operational definitions, but I want to come to somewhat of a shared consensus on what this means. Someone said, living with no filters, real, being true to yourself, integrity, true. Okay, so definitely seeing some themes here, being our real selves without filters, integrity between what you think and feel and what you say and do. Sandy said, really real. Be an acceptance of who I am, not phony. What you see is what you get. Okay, you guys are really good at this. All right. I always love asking you questions because you're always ready for some answers. Open to others, being comfortable with yourself, genuine and original. I like that, original. Knowing that you are the only original version of you. The honesty. So I see a lot of themes regarding face value, being true to who you are, being true to your own emotions, your own identity, your personality. And I think you guys are hitting the nail on the head, that authenticity is basically being true to ourselves, acknowledging our really real, genuine thoughts, feelings, and our experiences And this is where the mindfulness part comes in, is that it's without judgment. It's not filtering ourselves in a way that we think is acceptable to others. And I think that's really challenging, especially in today's society, because if you look around you, we are dominated by a culture of social media and a lot of image over substance. And we constantly filter our face value. And oftentimes that can be quite exhausting. And I will say that as a psychologist, I have the privilege of seeing people taking that mask off during therapy. And for many people, it's very nervously at first. There's a lot of reticence about being their true self in the midst of another person. And it comes with a lot of vulnerability. But for many individuals, as they share things and they realize that they can be their true self, they can talk about things that perhaps they feel ashamed of or feel others wouldn't understand or feel that, is something that would make them be seen differently. And they realize that it's okay to just be themselves. There's a really, I think, large sense of freedom as well as peace to be themselves. You're human. And I had a trusted supervisor and colleague at one point who used to say, the bad news is you're not perfect, but the good news is you don't have to be. And so to me, to be authentic means accepting both sides of that coin. And in relation to Parkinson's, authenticity often means embracing some of the changes that Parkinson's may bring to your life without necessarily hiding or downplaying its impact, and still trying to maintain a sense of identity, a sense of self that goes well beyond the limitations that are imposed by Parkinson's. And I think that that so closely aligns with mindfulness, right? Being present and accepting what is. And so this, sounds so simple in theory and it sounds great to do, but it's challenging in practice. And sometimes the physical and emotional challenges that come with Parkinson's can make it feel really difficult to stay connected to yourself. I often will hear from people, I don't recognize myself anymore, from both those with Parkinson's as well as their care partners, due to sometimes not being able to do the same things that they used to, fulfill the same roles or expectations that they once did. And so then they're left with trying to put on this face, put on, some sense of, what they think they ought to be for others in order to avoid disappointment or judgment, and just sometimes to be seen as, quote unquote, normal. So when we think about authenticity, at the crux of it, and again, this is an important mindfulness principle, I think, is the idea of acceptance. How do I accept who I am, where I am, what's going on in my life in this moment, even if it's not always something that I want, even if it's not always something that I want to see be who I am for all eternity. And oftentimes, luckily, we all change regardless of whether we like where we are or not. And so, I think if we can practice some of the acceptance of who we are or how we're feeling in any given moment, it makes it much easier to then practice authenticity and to be our true selves. Because when we do that, we're able to then connect more easily with ourselves, connect more easily with others, and stay in tune with emotions, good, bad, or otherwise, that we all experience on a day-to-day basis, especially when coming across challenges physically and emotionally. So I thought today we would do a little bit of a reflective acceptance practice. And this is a mantra-based practice that I have shared with you guys before, but I believe it's been a while. So if you remember it, I'd be impressed. But for those of you who are new or perhaps don't remember, let's come at it with fresh eyes and a beginner's mind today. As where we are today is obviously sometimes very different than where we were a week ago or a month ago or a year ago. So, with each statement that I say as part of this meditation practice, given that it is a mantra practice, I will say it out loud and then provide a period of time for you to be able to say that statement to yourself. And I want you to notice what comes up for you as you say each statement. What emotions may arise, what memories may come up, what resistance you may feel, or how acceptance is fostered through some of these statements. So we're going to come into it with whatever happens to mosey our way. All right. So go ahead and get into your comfy position. That can be seated, it could be lying down, it could be in any position that allows your body to be supported. And you are most welcome to close your eyes. You can find just a soft fixed point a few feet in front of you that allows you to soften your gaze. There's no one right way of coming into this. And we can start by grounding to this experience by anchoring to the breath, feeling the breath that comes in through your nose or mouth, travels into your lungs, allowing them to expand, noticing the breath as it travels back up your throat, softly passing through your nose or mouth. Not trying to change the breath in any particular way, just allowing yourself to notice what is right now. And as you start to lock into the gentle cadence of your breath, allowing your focus to settle here. Allowing any interjecting thoughts to pass on by, and coming back to the breath. As we focus attention, consider how you may be able to direct the breath to your heart, allowing it to metaphorically open a little more. Sometimes placing a hand over the chest can help facilitate this as well. Consider gently repeating after me. I accept myself for all that I am. I accept that I am inherently flawed and uniquely made. I accept the mistakes I have made and can forgive myself. I accept the wisdom I have gained from making mistakes in my life. I accept that I cannot change the past nor predict the future. I accept that the here and now is the only place I can live and thrive. I accept the emotions that I experience, both heavy and light. I accept that the world can be a painful place, as well as a source of joy, wonder, and happiness. I accept that I have a purpose in this world as the imperfect being I am. If you sit in this reflective space, consider what is arising for you. What are your authentic emotions, authentic reactions to the statements you just said to yourself? Noting any judgment that may pair with your observations, allowing yourself to let go of those, allowing yourself to be in this imperfect but beautifully authentic space. reading any harsh reactions with compassion. Acknowledging the courage that it took to carve this space out today. Now consider taking one intentionally deep breath right here, allowing your lungs to fill, feeling your chest expand. Slowly, slowly exhaling, allowing every ounce to squeeze from your lungs, knowing that that will allow your next breath to invigorate you even further. And when you feel ready, start creating some subtle intentional movements, slowly wiggling your fingers and toes, feeling the ground beneath you, your back up against whatever is supporting you, shifting in your seat, bringing your eyes back to focus, and bringing your attention to our Zoom space here when you're ready. All right, seeing eyes looking my way here, at least in my general direction. Perfect. So, would anyone care to share what this was like for them today? I believe our chat is back open. If anyone would like to add their insights, what was today's ride like? It's always a little bit different. I know for me, on some days when I try to engage in acceptance or even self-compassion, there are days when it is a challenge because I'm thinking of everything that I think counters it. And other days where it's like, no, it's actually really, this feels really easy. So certainly context of your day can matter. So have people saying that it was calm and relaxing, a great experience. Relaxing and expansive. I like that word. It's so interesting because we focus our attention on this very intentional meditation, but it then provides this expansive awareness to things that perhaps we wouldn't have even seen or acknowledged before. And wanted it to go on much longer. I was in such a relaxed place. It's always great on the days when we're wanting more, 'cause it means that we can get ourselves in that zone. Had a busy morning and this quieted me, grounded me, helpful. Someone had said it made me feel vulnerable, which was both frightening and reaffirming at the same time. Vulnerability is an interesting double-edged sword. It allows us so much opportunity for connecting and experiencing things we would otherwise try to wall off. But in the midst of that, it also leaves us open to things that sometimes we aren't prepared for, or things that feel threatening. Both are often the case with vulnerability, but neither is necessarily bad. Someone said, help me relax after the Super Bowl. I am guessing you're not a a Eagles fan. Emotionally calming, felt wonderful. Acceptance of ourselves is a very real challenge. We're so quick to sometimes accept and provide compassion for others, and for ourselves, it's such a more difficult task. Someone said, makes me think of some people who I need to call. And said, heavy stuff to think about, humbling, rewarding, and a little depressing at the same time. Mm, okay. Fears of not being able to perform our job fully. And again, I think that's the striving for imperfection, that I don't know that we ever quite meet the should capacity, right? I should be able to do this. I should meet this expectation. I should be able to perform at this level. And the saying that some of I love is, you should and you end up shooting all over yourself. We end up using this unrealistic expectation of what we should do that kind of tramples on what we are doing and our efforts, and honoring the fact that we are imperfect beings at best. And so being able to sometimes come to terms with that, even if it doesn't look exactly as we think it should. All right, reminders of the key role of forgiveness in our life journey. Yes, absolutely. And some people got a little hung up on forgiving myself for mistakes made. And that can be a hard one for many reasons. And sometimes it's worthy of having someone to talk to about and figuring out what keeps you on the hook for that. Okay. Able for me to accept the future. And that's a hard one too, because we don't know what the future may bring, right? Okay. Well, thank you guys. I want to make sure that we stay on our time for today and honor the rest of your day. So thank you so much for joining, and truly thank you so much for participating. It enriches all of our lives. And it, that you guys and your contributions, your perceptions, your experiences are what bring me back every month. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Dr. Rush. Always appreciate your guidance today and following up with that. Thank you for you, everyone here, showing up each and every Mindful Monday. And again, if in between sessions something shifts in your navigation with Parkinson's or something just comes up, don't hesitate to reach out to the Parkinson's Foundation. Our information here on the screen. Until our next session, may you feel that gratitude of authenticity for something or someone each new day that we are gifted. Be well. We'll see you soon.